The whole timer. Worst Valentine's Day ever. My wife of 7 years accidentally left her journal in a very accessible place and didn't expect me to be home early. I opened it and found daily references to how much she loves another man. It's like an atomic bomb just dropped on me. I knew something was up because she had grown distant, but I couldn't prove anything. I somehow knew something was up with this guy, but I always trusted her and never believed she would ever love someone more. It's all so hard to understand. I'm a respected and high-earning specialist physician. I have worked hard for everything I have. I am charismatic, talented, and in great shape, run marathons. This other man is overweight, broke, below the poverty line, and married with 3 young children. My wife works part-time. This gave her unlimited time and funds to meet up with this other man. I just can't believe this, and it sucks. How do I cope? What do I do? I did take pictures of the journal entries. Not sure if I should send these to others at this point. I would like to reconcile in theory, but I don't know if I can ever get over this. Also, my wife joined a club of sorts where she met this guy, and this club seems to mean the world to her. She has some other good friends there, but this guy is always there. I feel like I would have to ask her to leave this club, and there's no way that she ever would. So, I'm between a rock and a hard place. I don't know that I can stay with her if she continues there. I wasn't always there and wasn't as attentive as I should have been. We have no children, but we both want them. We tried for them, but she couldn't have them, despite thousands of dollars spent on IVF. We then sort of gave up. That was a couple years ago. We are both young, early 30s. The club gives her a sense of belonging, and they will commonly take videos and pictures of her and do interviews with her to promote her on social media, which makes her feel important. It talks about how his touch feels and the physical chemistry they have. Does mention kissing in our house when I wasn't there, but stops at that. Yes, the other man knows. She teaches music privately out of our home. I can't say that I was 100% happy, but I do love her and want a life with her. Should I confront her with what I know? I'm already an attending physician but have only been out of training for a year. We have just finishing paying off all of our debt but haven't accumulated very much yet. Salary in the 800 range. This other guy in the 30s or maybe even lower with a wife who doesn't work and 3 kids. I spoke to a lawyer today. We'll file immediately. I have not yet confronted my wife. I am still on the fence about telling the OMSW. I kind of want them to blow this up on their own. In the end, my alimony is going to pay for this guy getting a better life. Sucks. I pulled up the records and she literally spent more than an hour a day talking to this guy on the phone. Taking care of my physical health is no problem. I have one of the most intense exercise routines of anyone I know. However, mental health, what do you suggest I do there? If she has ever had a full-time job. I never really thought about that question, but she actually did for 1 year and she never let me hear the end of it. She complained how bad it was and how I made her get that job and it was all my fault. Right now, she teaches for about 15 hours a week and then she spends the rest of the time at this club, and she actually once told me, and I'm not making this up, I do so much at that place that I consider myself full-time. Never mind the fact that she pays to be there. Hell, if you count all of the community service I do outside of my job, I work like 100 hours a week. I filled out all the paperwork yesterday and my lawyer will file on Tuesday. I'm saddened but will not tolerate this. I love her and right now I want her back, but I am hoping that feeling will fade. I'm doing the 180. She's out of town this weekend, so I get to avoid her until the filing. They are both out of town. I can't prove that they are on a rendezvous, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yes, she is spending my money. The divorce, it is already started. From discovery to filing for divorce will be less than a week. I will then ask her to leave and will pack up her stuff and get it to a storage unit. Lawyer, he essentially said just maintain the status quo until everything goes through. There's a form that essentially freezes asserts and prevents you from making any big changes in spending until everything goes through. BTW, he did say that alimony was a virtual certainty, but that he thinks we can get some favorable terms in no more than 3 years. I am a doctor and in shape and a high earner, but those things took tremendous dedication, commitment, and hard work. Having these qualities put me on this path to good health, wealth, and security. It isn't like I won the lottery and had it all dumped in my lap. I always believed that a woman would strongly desire a man who had such qualities. Furthermore, I would think that they would want a husband that they would be proud of. So, it is hard to understand why my wife would choose the guy with none of these qualities. Clearly, I'm not meeting her emotional needs the way this guy does, but it seemed like I was doing all the right things. I was trying to anyway. My work-life balance has already improved substantially in the last couple months. I can give her more attention, but now I have to wonder if I even want to. My attorney is estimating that I will pay her $4 to $5 a month for 3 years. Split of assets at this point will be about $300. So, she will get a $450 severance package. Update. Wife was served an hour ago. No word yet. I did message the OMW. I may have cost myself thousands. I guess we'll see. STBX's response. Well, she left a long message which was essentially why, and couldn't we have talked about this first, etc. Pretty emotional, and she was obviously crying. I'm not really looking forward to getting home tonight. Not really sure what I'll say. Well, last night was one I'll never forget. I went home and faced the music. She was there waiting to talk. She asked why I had filed and I explained that it was because of her infidelity. She tried to deny it, but then I produced her journal. She then admitted to loving him. I asked why she wanted to throw her marriage away over some fat, broke, married guy with 3 kids. She said our marriage was gone a long time ago. She then tried to force herself into the moral high ground by telling me what a scumbag I was for reading her private journal. Said she could never trust me again and demanded that I erase all journal pictures on my phone. She then left in a huff because of that. No real closure, and it was quite unsatisfying. She honestly didn't seem that resistant to a divorce. To address a couple others. 1. I messaged the OMW on social media, both FB and Instagram. She didn't respond on either and the messages are not showing up as being viewed. Not sure how to proceed. 2. I have not spoken to her parents. Should I? Her father is a shark. If he knows the marriage is ending, he will push for blood in an attorney battle. He will protect his daughter's future. Update. Well guys, hope you are sitting down. I came home, early, to an empty house. She has cleared out all of her clothes and toiletries and even most of her studio, where she teaches music out of the home. Most of the pictures have been taken down. Signed divorce papers are on the counter. She just signed a low-ball offer that I put out without question. No note, no attempts to contact me today. This is not unfolding the way I expected. I gave her unlimited money and all the time in the world to pursue those ventures. Whether or not she had my time was a completely different question. She did, but she spent more of her time doing her own thing and we rarely did things together, especially in this past year. But we both seemed content with that, so I didn't worry about it straining a relationship. We were married after all and I had her vow to be with me through everything. I figured she would tell me if there was a problem. I run marathons. Also, the way that I train is highly unorthodox and does not require an extensive time commitment. I work out at very high intensity for no more than 45 minutes a day and that does it. The reason that I even brought it up was because I wanted to show that I don't just let myself go. I am in shape and I like to think of myself as good looking. The OM is not. I've learned a tremendous amount about love and attraction over the last few days. I could never be attracted to a married, out-of-shape female. Women are obviously built differently. Someone once said, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. We discussed adoption once and she said she was opposed to it. I really wanted it. I don't have any idea why she's gone nuclear like this. She went to stay with her brother. I've already made an appointment for a counselor tomorrow. I spoke to my attorney this morning. He's going to come by and pick up the signed paperwork to file today. He recommended that I cut a check for the value of the assets and first month of alimony, per the agreement, and give it to her today. He thinks that her cashing it, along with the signed dissolution agreement and her moving out, will become a pretty strong de facto contract. I have already canceled joint credit cards. My lawyer seemed pretty excited by this odd turn of events. I still feel empty. This is not what I expected. I ran the best run of my life yesterday and was barely tired afterward. My world makes no sense right now. My wife is a unique creature. I don't think anyone can predict her next move. I will drive myself crazy trying. Signed papers were filed and checks were delivered to her. We'll see if she cashes them. I'm confused. She signed a lowball offer. Clearly money is not what this is about. This morning was a bit odd. I had to go over to the house where she has supposedly been staying to pick up my soon-to-be ex-nephew. I had promised several weeks ago to take him for an outing this morning. I did, but it was weird to go over there. She was not there, by the way. Her brother said that she left early that morning, probably because she knew I was coming over. I did get an email from her about splitting the remainder of the household items. She did take the checks, but nothing has been cashed yet. A bit of a plot twist and the first crack in her veneer. WW reached out to my estranged brother. My brother hates me, last night. WW let him know that we were divorcing and the date of the trial and was looking for dirt on me. We are in a no-fault state, so I have no clue why she even wants dirt. Even so, there is none, and so my brother couldn't give her any ideas what this could be about. Is she trying to somehow unravel the signed contract, which she has already acted on, and run to an attorney? We go in front of the judge to finalize, but both our signatures are on it and she has acted on the terms of the contract, cashed first month alimony, waiting for her to cash the other checks for split of assets. I do believe that she is scared that the journal entries will be made public. Maybe she is signing to try and keep me happy. She asked to meet up again to delete the pictures. I said we could find a time when I'm not so busy. I found out that she signed a lease on an apartment. That's it. Honestly, I'm feeling a bit down today. Still have some worries. Thinking about my STBXW with another man sucks. I know you guys think this is weakness, but this was the love of my life up until just a couple weeks ago. She wants out for this other out of shape, fake, broke, loser. Makes me feel like less of a man that she would choose him. We are a few weeks from finalizing. I keep getting worried that the judge will not sign off even though both parties have agreed and money has been exchanged and we have otherwise both acted in accordance with the contract. Found out through the grapevine that she traded in her car for a new one, spending that money already. but I honestly think it's so that I won't know where she lives or otherwise come looking for her. 1. I got her new phone number and texted her from an anonymous source. No response. Not sure if she got it. 2. Attorney says that we move forward with separating everything including cars, possession, to strengthen the de facto settlement. 3. I believe she is done with that, at least through the previously explored channels. Locks were changed last week. Forgot to mention that. Lawyer reached out about quick claim signing and did it sort of in exchange for getting her off the home mortgage and some other odds and ends. She seemed open to it. House payments, utilities, take forever to get switched over. All that had not been completely sorted out. Unlike the OM, I do have a steady job, so it takes a bit of time to get these things sorted out. I have these journal entries that she is desperate to get back. Once the divorce is gone through and the smoke is clear, can I negotiate a non-disclosure in exchange for dropping alimony? Or some other demand? If we're being honest, I don't want to have to give her anything. She suckers punched me and I hate seeing her profit. Obviously, the court is not going to go for giving her nothing. So, the question is, after this process, could I negotiate something that would bring me closer to that? I should shut my mouth and take the settlement and move on. It's all just so unbelievable. How can this be happening? I feel like she's lost her mind and the pain is unbearable. I saw that she started changing her name back to her maiden name on almost every financial account and website. That was quick. I've been up all night thinking about her and us and this whole situation. It's so hard to believe that my marriage is ending. I just can't believe she would want someone or something else. I care so deeply for her and I'm so hurt. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing by ending this. I'm 75% sure this is the right thing, but I do love her so much and I want her to be my wife. Every little thing sets me off. I'm afraid to lose her and I'm afraid this horrible emotional pain will last forever. She sold her car and bought another and has been tight-lipped about where she is living. She is doing this to hide from me. Not good. Also, some of her friends have removed me on Facebook. Although there could be other explanations there, I have never had a problem with any of them personally, so I don't know why they would clip me. I have done so much so quickly. It wasn't a half-hearted attempt to blow things up with OMW. I wrote her through every route that I could find. I am still working on it. I will get in touch with OMW. I absolutely will. I have a day job in addition to the rest of this crap. This is not easy. A couple things have happened in the last few days, so I want to catch you up. 1. I had a friend, reliable source, tell me that my STBX is seeing someone else now. Not the OM, not sure if that's in addition to OM or they are finished. This new guy is single, good-looking, and fit, at least on my level in that regard. He has a stable job making maybe $50,000 per year. Anyway, didn't see that coming and I have no idea what to make of it. I'm a little lost and hurt about it honestly. 2. I received the notarized quitclaim deed on the house. 3. I started to hang out with a new girl. She's not on my ex's level in attractiveness, but she's a lot of fun. One thing is very strange. I get these overwhelming urges to contact her and either ask her to come back or tell her off. Instead, I come here and tell you guys and you convince me to continue the radio silence. The weird part is that she probably thinks that I'm super strong, decisive, and resilient, but in reality, I feel like a whiny bee. I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about this whole mess. I am hurt about her going crazy and moving out, changing her name back, and separating our accounts and our lives in every way. I am angry that she cared so little for us that she would just unplug like this. It's so hard to understand. I'm not an ultra-wealthy business magnate or real estate mogul, but I am successful and smart. In my mid-sized community, I am probably the top earner at my age, definitely top 5. I am also good-looking and turn heads everywhere I go, and that's before they find out I'm a doctor. I am well-loved in the community and I represent myself and my practice well. Although you all think I'm arrogant, I don't come across that way in my regular social circles. I hope that I am not broken forever, although I suspect that I am. A couple things that have given me reprieve. I know that this was the best time for this all to happen. Financially, professionally, and in my ability to find someone else and have a family. I know that I am in a better position than many. If nothing else, there are no kids in the picture. But nights like this really do hurt. She knows she can reach out and I will be receptive. She has chosen not to. I had a better night last night. Even so, I keep going back and forth on D versus R, but even if I wanted R, I don't know that she wants it. Probably not. She loves another man. I have about a month left before finalizing. Man, this sucks. One thing we haven't talked about: the relationship with the in-laws. My ex has nieces and a nephew that I've been very close with. Her sister is very supportive of me continuing to have a relationship with them. She's actually called me several times to take them out for fun times. I enjoy doing this. So last night was particularly strange and invoked some new thoughts and feelings. I went to a mixer and this new girl that I've been seeing was there. She seemed happy to see me at first but started to cool off after a while. Long story short, she went out to have a smoke and some guy came and picked her up and she left with him in his car. Obviously, we are not together and she can hang out with whoever she wants. However, I am amazed by how much this rejection stings. After spending weeks on this forum pouring out everything about my STBXW, all I can think about is this new girl leaving me at the mixer to run off with this other guy. I literally couldn't care less about my STBXW. Now, I want to be clear, I don't care about the whys of this new girl's motives or understanding her actions. They are perfectly appropriate and acceptable. What is bothering me is how much it is bothering me. I know this girl wasn't the right one for me and she should be with someone else, but I keep wondering if my new life is meant to be this continuous cycle of pain and heartbreak. I really thought that I didn't have any serious feelings for this girl, so what's going on? The problem is not with her, it is with me. The problem is not that it happened, but how I feel about it. The problem is that, somewhere on the inside, I must have wanted something with this woman who I thought, even knew, I wasn't right for. On a side note, after flirting with me and displaying some interest, she cooled off and then left without saying goodbye. That certainly added to this vortex of feelings. As it so happens, this recent girl has reached out asking how things have been. I have answered pretty neutrally and just left it at that. I'm honestly just not that interested. A couple days of hard work in the hospital with people that have real problems will do a lot to numb the pain. News. 1. I got one email from my ex asking about some financial loose ends. No other word of any kind. She ended it saying she wished me well. 2. I had a friend tell me that he knows that she is still seeing person number 2. 3. I met a mutual friend of OMW and he said he would make sure she found out, and that had actually done this to OMW before several years ago, and they had gone through church counseling and worked through it and decided to stay together. 4. Had some frustrating things happen financially. Nothing devastating, just frustrating. Sick of being taken advantage of by others just because I have a high income and am compassionate. 5. Other girl who left at the party is not much of a thought at this point. I really have too much else on my plate and a lot of other women talking to me, online and in person, so it has really taken a backseat. She did message me once today with a funny message. 6. My biggest fear remains that my ex will lawyer up and try to get more out of me at the court date. I haven't heard anything regarding that though. Do lawyers have to give you some kind of declaration that they are going to be representing the competition? I honestly don't know what an attorney would do at this point, given that she has already acted in accord with the contract. I just don't want to deal with it, and it is extending the divorce process. Hopefully she feels the same way. 7. I did some amazing things in my career this last week, so that felt great. Ironically, I look back and I was quite attractive, and obviously very smart as well, but I was awkward. I wouldn't say the rejection takes me back. Honestly, the emotions I'm feeling now are all completely new to me. Well, I would like to try online dating. In my town, I would guess that word would get back to my STBX soon. My question is whether I should wait until everything is finalized. I guess I've waited this long. Getting ghosted by this other girl was awesome for helping me to stop thinking about my STBX. What do I have to wait for in order to take someone else out? I'm not looking for my next wife, but it would be nice to get to know some people. So much happened, but really hasn't. Most of the work and experience has been internal. I broke the news to my partners and everyone in my practice. Some were suspecting, and I didn't want them catching me out on a date and wondering what the hell. I have been on a few dates. One especially knocked my socks off. I could not have displayed a better version of myself. I feel like the date went beautifully. I was smart and exciting and got her talking and laughing. It felt great. Then I waited a couple days after the date to say anything. She didn't either, or then I asked her out again. She replied that she had something going on that day and would let me know. She didn't. Sort of deflating. Others have shown entirely too much interest, and it bugs the crap out of me. I'm a yes man, and so I have pretty much said yes to all social functions I've been asked to, and it's been exhausting. I ran into OM at a coffee shop the other day. He was with his 3 little girls. I didn't say a word. He didn't either. Don't even know if he recognized me, to tell the truth. To my shame, I listened to music and avoided looking in his direction. I was scared or nervous or something. I know I have every right to hold my head up high, and I imagined 1,000 times what I would say to him if I ever saw him. I guess the answer is nothing. Not a single word from my ex. No word from the girl at the party mixer. I've had a month straight of hard work and no real signs of slowing. Internal and external demands are piling up. I did have an infusion of some really good news though. My best friend is moving back to my town. He had been living 2,000 miles away. He is single. Well, I definitely wouldn't say I was someone else. It felt very organic. We had so much in common that it somewhat blows my mind that she wasn't pining for a second date. I guess it is possible that she is just really busy, but this is typically not how someone who wants a second date acts. In any case, attraction is an odd thing. I learned that from my ex leaving me for OM. And just to be clear, I'm not sitting around obsessing over this girl. I'm just logically sorting this out while understanding that I probably will never figure this out logically. I don't come from money or a doctor family, far from it. For most of my life, I made very little money. Most of my hobbies are cheap and very few of my friends are doctors. My house is not opulent. My car is not flashy. It's true that I do question my STBXW running off with fat, broke, married is strange because of all that I have to offer, but that's pretty understandable to virtually everyone here. To regard that confusion and statements to that effect as arrogant is really a stretch and means that you're reaching for something, consciously or not. It's been almost 2 months now since D-Day. Not officially D yet, but that's coming up, again, avoiding specifics. My marriage situation did not come up on the date. I discovered that has had a number of affairs with various women around town. I mentioned another a bit ago, but I have learned of more. Not sure how he has so much luck with the ladies. Weird. I guess that's neither here nor there. I have gone back and forth between missing STBXW and not. As hard as it is to accept, I do still love her. But at the same time, it's not like she's a celebrity. I see a girl every single day that I'm more attracted to, but damn, they are tough to reel in. My game isn't great. I went out with a new girl the other night and I think I got too intellectual. She's medical and she was explaining what she did for work and I was genuinely interested, so I kept asking her questions. Long story short, date didn't end with intimacy and I'm fairly sure she hooked up with someone else that night. Surprise. I'm good at attracting girls and getting that first date, but getting the second date is proving to be difficult. Not exactly sure what I'm doing wrong, but I feel like I've crashed and burned with the last 3. Lots of updates. 1. As of yesterday, I am officially divorced. She was completely stoic at the courthouse. She wanted this over with. I'm frankly amazed. 2. Yes, I met up with OMW and told her everything. She already knew most of it. She was actually somewhat nasty and aggressive with me and didn't take well to me showing the journal pictures. It was not the encounter that I expected. Even before the finalization, I did say I was willing to talk. She said she appreciated it, but it would never work. I nodded and signed the form. I just wanted to be able to say that I left no stone unturned. To add insult to this whole situation, I recently became friends with a woman who happens to work at the club. I didn't find this out until we had become friends. She is supposed to promote the organization and the people within it. Lately, I have been inundated with FB messages promoting OM and his company. It's really annoying. Not sure what, if anything, to do about it. I've had a crappy last couple of days that I wanted to share with you. Had a date that I was really excited about. She no-showed on me, first time that's ever happened. What gets to me is that I delayed a bunch of my obligations to go out with her. She lives a couple towns over, so it was quite a bit of time getting to the date and back. Really frustrating, and the distance just adds insult to injury. On top of that, I asked out a girl that I had been out with once and got flat out rejected. So basically, rejected by 2 girls that I was interested in on the same night. Wasn't a good night. But whatever, I did find out what happened to the girl that left the party abruptly that night. Turns out that her husband, yes, you read that right, had just gotten out of jail and was picking her up from the party. Wow. My ex is now seeing another guy, a third guy, that is single but not a very impressive specimen. I can't help but compare myself to these guys and wonder why. I'll agree that I'm probably taking this process a bit too seriously. It's probably because I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball. Now in my mid-30s looking for a new wife and new life. Something I hadn't even remotely considered at the beginning of the year. Update. I'm about to board a flight for a vacation. I'm meeting my best friend for a 10-day trip of shenanigans. Hopefully this trip will help. This last couple weeks have felt like a serious setback. Honestly, it's probably because of the finalization of the divorce. It's all so real now. One other thing that I've experienced is that I have met a handful of women that I can honestly say would likely make much better wives than my ex ever did. I haven't had much luck with them thus far, but there is potential there and it is just a matter of time until I find one with a mutual attraction. Having one of those crappy days now. My ex is dating a new guy and this one is out in the open. This is how a lot of my friends are finding out about the divorce. Everyone knows about it and is asking me. This is not the most attractive guy, but they do have a lot in common and he is single at least. It's affecting me more than I would have expected. Just back for some closure 4 months out from V-Day. Having this relationship over with is a huge feeling of accomplishment. Having done it in the way I did, based on your advice, lead to what I believe was the best possible outcome. And I mean that personally, professionally, and financially. Filing immediately let me keep my dignity and allowed me to push through this process while she still had stars in her eyes for this OM, which of course, didn't last. As for dating, I took a step back and realized what I had going for me and I started acting like it. I think my ex was so in my head that I felt I had to prove something to the next girl. I have now learned to be myself again, which has made dating much more successful and enjoyable. I've met probably 6 girls that I am way more interested in than my ex. I bought a new house and I am in the process of selling the marital home. It's just not right for me anymore. I have a reminder in my phone to stop making excuses and don't fall into the victim mentality. This whole thing feels like such distant history. I have seen my ex once since the finalization of the divorce. It was in traffic and no glances were exchanged. Otherwise, nothing aside from occasional pictures popping up on FB. She has a new BF and I only know this from a picture of them together as his FB profile pic. It was tough for me to see. This was about a month ago. but I was over it in, literally, a couple hours. Anyway, there is very little left of my connection to her. I wrapped up paperwork in terms of real estate, insurance, which was one of the last things I needed to do. Now I only give her alimony once a month. In summary, I am at peace with her and me and the whole situation. I don't like her or respect her, but I wish her well. I can't wait until I don't have to pay her anymore. As for me, I ended up taking an online dating profile. As predicted, it was wildly successful. I struggled early on, which I shared with you guys, but I read a few books about modern dating and I applied it and things took off. There were some key things that I was doing which made me look and sound desperate. I simply stopped doing those things and it became pretty easy. One of the girls that I found online was absolutely amazing. We'll call her Anne. The other girls were fun and beautiful and we had a connection, but this one was way more intense in every way. Anne is gorgeous and smart and accomplished. No kids and a divorce some 2 years ago under similar circumstances. She caught him with someone else. I love her personality and her sense of humor. I fell hard for her. Like the books say, I played hard to get, which I believe was intriguing to her since she is so beautiful and she is constantly getting so much attention. And slowly, over 2 months, warmed to me to the point that she has invited me to meet all her friends, and just this week, she asked if I would be her boyfriend. I absolutely agreed and I took down my dating profiles and told the other girls no, which was very emotional. I did like them, just not like Anne. It isn't perfect. Anne is still not super affectionate in public. She definitely is in bed, and I don't feel her burning desire for me like I did with the other girls, but I feel like we are growing stronger with each date. I am also very standoffish, because of not wanting to look desperate, and I want to give her all of the space in the world to choose me. She's obviously been hurt the way that I have. So here we are. I am 7 months out of my previous marriage and in a committed relationship with a girl that lights a fire in my soul. I don't know where it's going, but I'm excited to find out. So after not hearing from my ex for months, she sent me an email that said, "I need to send you a written correspondence. What address should I send it to? What do you think this could be about and how would you respond? Don't know if this matters, but I just learned she's getting married. Sort of amazing, my ex got married. I got out of a couple $100,000 in alimony. That's the good news. The bad news is that this new girl that I've been seeing has gone crazy and we are not together anymore. She truly was certifiable. Texts in the middle of the night. Weird sudden nasty messages that basically told me I was scum and was terrible in bed. Then apologies the next day wanting to try again. Getting completely plastered drunk to the point of wetting my bed multiple times. I'm a doctor, so I've been trying to figure it out. Borderline or maybe split personality is all I can come up with. Months later, an update on my life in general. I did get rid of the beautiful drunk crazy bee. It was tough, but the right thing to do. Now I'm back on the dating circuit. Really haven't met anyone that I'm super excited about yet, but taking my time. Work has been hectic but rewarding and increasingly lucrative. Health has been good. Workouts have been steady and consistent. Ultimately, I do really miss having someone every day, but I want to be the right person. I want it to be someone who lights me on fire. I know that kind of thing fades, but I think it's the right thing to have up front. So, the final nail in the coffin with beautiful crazy alcohol girl. She cheated on me with my good friend, who is married with kids. Seriously, it happened again. Do feel like I have a lot of options, but then again, I don't feel like I really like the ones I have. Not sure what it takes to crack into the high-caliber women that I actually want to be with. High caliber being beautiful, smart, active, and successful. I am pondering whether or not the bonding was worth it in the end. It was quite honestly life-changing. I do think I got too attached, but I am slowly pulling out of it. It is so much easier than it was with my ex-wife though. Yeah, I can't feel bad for my friend. He was a real idiot for doing this. I think I've become fairly decent at the dating game, but this girl was really amazing. I loved her so much. I enabled her and allowed her to hurt me in the most personal of ways. I invited her horrible behavior, and I guess in that I have no one to blame but myself. Half a year later, I'm in a little bit of a funk and wanting to vent, discuss, having to decide between women. Girl 1, beautiful, by age, uplifting and social, happy, local, 2 kids, 6 and 8, who I like but can be exhausting. I'm not super used to kids. Physically, bonding hasn't been great. Girl 2, beautiful, 10 years younger, no kids, very religious. I'm not. Stoic as opposed to happy, lives 90 minutes away. Gets occasionally very emotional, moody. Partially I believe this is because I haven't been committal. Amazing physical chemistry. Was casually dating both and both got to a point where they told me they loved me. Here's the thing, about a month ago, I let girl 2 go for girl 1 mainly because girl 2 was sending me these long messages making me feel bad for not writing her enough and not giving her enough attention and making her feel like she wasn't a priority. She was, but work got particularly hectic. Girl 2 now has a new guy and it's really upsetting me. We are friends on social media, so I see these gushing posts. I feel like I've made the wrong decision. I haven't been able to sleep or eat, it just sucks. Granted, girl 1 posts all these pics with me and so girl the 2nd of may feel the same way. I don't know. A month ago, girl 2 was telling me she loved me, so I feel like I could reach out and maybe reverse course, but I don't want to ruin her good thing if she's happy and I'm not even sure what I want. Thoughts: the dating world can be rough. My comment: there are qualities he likes in both girls, yet both have things that he would have to settle with. Kids with one and attitude with the other, as well as distance. In my opinion, if you really stood back, neither would be a great candidate in the long run. Now, if you want a girlfriend for the moment, then stay with number 1, but long run, I will try finding someone that has the best of both. Remember what you bring to the table. Everyone has baggage, but some have less.